Live from Washington Commanders training camp in Ashburn, your man Juan Gotti was there. We're finally back home, and I'm ready to talk about all things Commanders that I seen live in person. It was a great, great day. It's your man Juan Gotti. Let's get straight to it.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jayden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jayden Daniels' career and he's already milking injuries? Like,
They stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We are the Washington Commanders live stream. And in today's live stream, I'm coming on here with a very special live as I was there in person in Ashburn, feet on land for the second time today, or second time this training camp, I should say, and I saw it all. Before we get into today's live, I want to ask you guys, do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this one to the channel. Let me actually go ahead and brand myself up right quick. Boom. There we go. All right, y'all. So I want to take a time before we get any further into it to say shout out to all you all that were there at training camp today that I met. It was very, very cool and surreal to meet a lot of you all. Such kind people. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all for rocking with the channel and subscribing. I have a vlog, public interview, I should say, of interviewing the fans coming out at 6 p.m. where we toured the whole entire training camp asking Commanders fans their thoughts. I ended up on Fox 5 DC. Shout out to Chad Ricardo, you know what I'm saying, holding it down for Fox 5 DC as he does an awesome job. And it was just great vibes. So I just want to first start by talking about that, and we'll get into all the particulars of what I seen on field and injuries and whatnot. But let's first take a look at your boy Juan Gotti on Fox 5 DC. Training camp was electric, especially today with the connections with Jayden Daniels and Debo Samuel early on. It was just a great feeling. This is the most packed that I've been. Yeah. My second experience, it was electric. It was fun.
I love that, and a lot of talk is about the chemistry, the culture out here, the community that's within this burgundy and gold. We see that with the fans as we can pull around and see that more fans are just around because they want to listen to you just to support you. What do you think of the fan base and the way that you all come out to support this team?
Yes, sir. So the fan base is back, and this was a sleeping giant for years now, and they finally gave us a reason to come back out. This is one of the staple franchises of this whole entire league, and we're back. And you see how electrifying it was last year, and the future is bright for the fans and this whole entire stadium and everything. So we're looking good for the future.
Big news a couple of times this week. We know that yesterday, by a count of, I believe, 9-3, the next step in the stadium deal was made. Yes, your thoughts on the team coming back home to D.C.?
It's going back to where it belongs. Washington, D.C. is where the stadium belongs. RFK is where all the success was in the past, and that's where we're headed. And I'm super excited for this fan base and this city to get its team back.
Finally, Terry McLaurin. I'm not even going to ask you a question. I'm going to just say it because I know you know the things. Terry McLaurin, go.
Yes, Terry McLaurin needs to be signed. I think both Adam Peters and Buddy Baker and Terry McLaurin needs to come to a common ground. $30 million a year, I think, gets the deal done with a lot of guaranteed money, and we should have 1-7 back out here very shortly. Don't panic, fans. We're good. So that was your man Juan Gotti on Fox 5 DC talking about the burgundy and gold. And as you heard there, we talked strictly about a numerous of things in regards to the new stadium and, you know, fan experience there at training camp and how electric it was, because it was damn electric at that, I might add. But more importantly, we talked about Terry McLaurin as he was yet again the topic of discussion and the talk of the town, as he is still yet to sign a contract extension with the Burgundy and Gold and the Washington Commanders. That being said, though, he was live in attendance again as his holdout is over, and he was there, fans chanting his name, going crazy. A lot of people have a feeling that that was a celebratory walkout by Terry McLaurin, as maybe, just maybe, he did get his contract extension. So take a look at this. So that was Terry McLaurin, who was spotted today. And in the words of my man Rio Robinson, he was finally spotted in some new clothes after the first few times that we saw him. He was in the same exact, little undergarments and whatnot. But it may be, just maybe, this is something that to chew on, or maybe it's not. Like, he's just out there making an appearance. But he definitely looked in spirits, and he dapped up Josh Hurst, and that's the whole owners, right? So all this, he requested a trade, and it may have some legitimacy to it. It is BS, right? If that was the case, he wouldn't be dapping up the owner of the team. He wouldn't be hugging Miss Jackson, Jayden Daniels' mom. He wouldn't be out there mingling with the players if he legitimately wanted a trade out of Washington. Again, this was just a move that was pulled by his agent Buddy Baker to try to pull the wool over the Washington Commanders' eyes and get them to overpay and panic, but they're standing firm, and I think something's going to get done here shortly. Again, I'm not sure the exact term and date at this point, right? Like, we don't know exactly when it's going to happen now, but I do still feel that at some point we will get the great news that Terry McLaurin is going to be extended. Now, let's talk a little bit more about Terry McLaurin, but from teammates' perspectives. You have Debo Samuel, who we'll talk a little bit later about, speaking on the Terry McLaurin situation, and here this clip is now.
I've been in this situation plenty of times, and I'm a guy that not try to get too deep in what the business side of things, but at the end of the day, 17, I want you out here.
You want him out here?
I want him out here for sure. No matter how long it take, I understand the business side of things, but whenever it happens, we're going to hit the ground rolling.
So that was Debo Samuel talking about Terry McLaurin. And again, that goes back to the main point that I felt like I've been saying all along this whole entire process and talking about Terry McLaurin, is you don't trade for Debo Samuel for him to be your number one weapon, right? You traded for Debo Samuel in hopes that he can pair well with Terry McLaurin. You traded for Laramie Tunsil because you decided that you were going all in. Like, you do these things because you want to create a really, really good team and a Super Bowl contender. Well, I'll tell you for sure, without Terry McLaurin, probably won't happen. So you definitely have to get Terry McLaurin under contract, and Debo Samuel is fiending, ready to practice and play with Terry McLaurin alongside him, and I can't wait to get this thing done, because I'm ready to see this duo, as Debo has been tearing it up in camp. He did have a couple drops today, but he, for the most part, has been tearing it up in camp and posing as the number one. And him and Jayden Daniels, that connection seems to be growing rapidly, and it's definitely an exciting time with those guys and that connection. But let's actually get to some on-field play. So today, again, it was a packed house, given it that it was the last public practice and it was Kids Day. Definitely was pretty packed, but it was some action on the field that I think we need to talk about. First things first, they kicked things off with the special teams period, and they had the punt return, the kick returns, and Debo Samuel on the punt return, he looks the part. Like, and I know this is no surprise, because like this is something that he has in his bag. But if we're in a position, because I do think Jaylen Lane, who also was back there as well, and he looked really, really good. If this was full speed, he probably would have had a touchdown or something like that. But I think Jaylen Lane is going to be the punt returner, and he was dang good today. But if Washington is in a position where they feel like Debo Samuel can provide a spark, I think that's where you throw him back there. Debo Samuel's too valuable to this team to be the primary punt returner. But that being said, if we're down and we're slow out the second half or something of that nature, and you just need a quick spark, Debo Samuel is your plug and play guy because I think he's a guy that provides a lot in terms of the special teams game, and it's very very cool to hear him you know talk about it and actually put it out there on the field. They looked cool. They still had Brian Robinson back there catching punts. I don't know if that's something that's real. I doubt it, obviously, but it was interesting to see Brian Robinson back there on punts. Getting to the actual offensive work today, they did a lot of hurry up and 2 minute offense. And what I will say from my observation is that Jayden Daniels and Zach Ertz connection is just as good as last year. And I don't know if it's just the comfortability that Jayden has with Zach Ertz, but in the red zone, it's going to Zach Ertz. Today, multiple time down in the red zone, down by the touchdown, down and by the end zone, he immediately looked for Zach Ertz. And he connected a couple times, crossed the middle. There was a pass that was a little bit behind him. But for the most part, they were on the money, and they've been on the money all camp long. And Zach Ertz, that's why he says he wishes he was 22 again, so he could play with play with Debo. I mean, play with Jayden Daniels his whole career because the magic that those two guys create is definitely fun to watch. And I know I wasn't really expecting much out of Zach Ertz no last year, and when we got what we got from him, it was definitely surprising, but positive in a good way. And I definitely think if he's able to replicate 17 games again and stay healthy and stay injury free, I think he could replicate 600 yards. How often we use him in the past game, it wouldn't surprise me if he's able to replicate what he did last year. And also, speaking of the tight end room, John Bates. Let me find out John Bates finally got the catching down packed. Remember, they always said about John Bates, he's been one of the best blocking tight ends in the game. That's been his lane, his thing. That's the reason why he got the contract extension. And earlier this offseason, they said John Bates is expected to have a bigger role. And for me, I was like, okay, let's see. Maybe this is the season that he finally puts it all together. Because anytime he catches the pass, my heart is stopping. I'm nervous. I think he's gonna put it on the carpet. But for me, he looks a little bit more fluid as a pass catcher. He has some great passes that he caught today. Actually showed some type of yak. You know what I mean? That's not his game. He's not a yak tight end. He's not a guy that can take it 20 yards to the house after a catch. But he looked good. Let me find out John Bates. John Bates is an X factor, man. Let me find out. I think also speaking about the tight end room, I would be remiss to not mention Ben Sinnott, and he did have a pass today where I think it was off the hands of him and into the arms of Quan Martin, if I can remember correctly. So those things are the things that you look at that you say, you cannot afford to have, right? Those are the second year mistakes that you expect a guy like Ben Simmons to make, but you really would hope, in fact, that it won't happen. But off the hands, things like that happens. I'm glad Quan Martin was Johnny on the spot, able to get there and get the ball. He looks good. Joe Witt Jr. has constantly said throughout this whole entire offseason that he feels as if Quan Martin can play to the level of the best safety in the NFL. And for a time, I've always wondered why. Not that Quan didn't have the talent. I know he had the talent for sure. But I was just always curious as to what Joe Witt Jr. saw in Quan to say to say that kind of message. But I think what a lot of people have to remember is Quan, this is the first time in a while that he's truly healthy. Right? Two separated shoulders, and he's playing like nothing's wrong. I'm very eager to see what a healthy Quan Martin looks like. He looks like that ball hawk that we drafted out of Illinois. Remember, the theme of what was that, the 2023 draft class with Emmanuel Forbes and Quan Martin. We took both of those guys with the first two picks of that draft class. The theme of that draft class early on was getting some ball hawks and people that could take away the football. And Quan Martin may have finally found his groove in terms of being able to do that on a consistent basis. We've seen flashes time and time again of Quan being able to be a menace around the ball, but maybe he's able to just finally put it on paper and all put it together. So Quan definitely continues to impress. I want to say my guy Colin Vigors. This is an undrafted free agent. This is one of the undrafted free agents that I'm very interested in. And before we even went into camp, I said he was a guy that I was going to keep my eye on. He had a nice play where he was in good coverage. The ball was slightly overthrown, but he was in good coverage, and he's had multiple plays where he's able to beat the receiver down the field, basically run the route for the receiver, and he's an interesting name. Now I don't know with the cornerback situation in terms of who we keep, if there's going to be room for Colin Vigors, but I definitely think at worst he could be some help on special teams. That's his way of making this roster, but again, with this cornerback room being like Allstate in good hands, it could be a little sketchy for him to make it, but it wouldn't surprise me if Colin Vigors did find a way on this roster. Continuing on though with the defensive side of the ball, can I say, and this again should not be no surprise if you've seen videos or if you were there at camp yourself, Dietrich Wise is humongous. Javon Kinlaw is huge, bro. And you truly seen the emphasis on this, on stressing the ability to stop the run. And getting guys of that size and that caliber, the Eddie Goldmans of the world, we're truly traumatized by Saquon Barkley. And we're truly trying to find a way to stop Saquon Barkley. And I think Washington may have found that solution with Dietrich Wise and with Javon Kinlaw and with Eddie Goldman and with Dorrance Armstrong. It wouldn't surprise me if this run game truly stepped up and made a surprise to everyone. And we'll get tested early for sure. Right out the gate, in my opinion, I think Tyrone Tracy is a guy that has the ability to truly be a special back. You go into week 2 to Josh Jacobs, week 3, Ashton Genty, week 4, I think that's Bijan Robinson, week 5, Omarion Hampton. Like, you're going to get tested early on. So all these upgrades and all the disruption that I've seen today and over throughout camp in terms of the run defense, it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to do it against these elite talents, because I'm telling you, that was one of our main weaknesses. We were too soft in the behind on the defensive line. And now that we kind of bulked up, I'll be interested and eager to see if the teams from last year are able to still create the same kind of success that they were able to create last year from Washington being a team that was easily runnable on, or easily able to run on. Then you continue on with talking about the defensive side of the ball. Von Miller, he went up against the young fella Josh Connolly Jr. today, and must I say, that was a good battle. That was a good battle. You still seen the burst out of Von Miller. So when he says he's 36 and he can roll out the bed and still play at a high level, he truly means it. And you can see the burst is there still with Von Miller. But what I will say is Josh Connolly Jr. was able to truly hold his own. He was able to hold his own against Von Miller, and I think that bodes well for you, because if you're able to block a first ballot Hall of Famer, I don't care what age that he's at his career in terms of Von Miller being old, that means you're doing something right. And with Josh Connolly Jr., I knew he was an undersized tackle, but after seeing him IRL in person and semi up close, he is a small offensive lineman. Think in terms of small in size, think of Sadiq Charles. Sadiq Charles was an undersized guard for us for a while, and it's not to say Josh Connolly won't be good, or this is not to say that we made the wrong decision, but I did see him out there and he looked good, but he was small, man. He was definitely small. But other than that, he was able to really truly hold his own and actually give Von Miller a reason to work today. But before we move any further into the live stream, I want to ask you guys, do me a favor, like this live, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications. We're on the road to 11,000 subscribers. New video where I interview the fans there in Ashburn. We'll be dropping at 6. Your man Juan Gotti made his presence known on Fox 5 DC today. Shout out to Chad Ricardo. Met a lot of great fans, so it was very cool. But I will say, moving on to another topic, is the Washington Commanders. I would say they're I kind of lost my train of thought. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, Luke McCaffrey. So Luke McCaffrey was able to get a nice grab over Trey Amos today. And with Luke McCaffrey, it's an interesting topic because it seems like, myself included, this fan base sees the potential. Sees the potential in Luke McCaffrey. And today he made a nice, and I mean nice grab. Jayden Daniels threw it right in the basket, and Luke McCaffrey was able to go over the shoulder like this right into his arms and made a nice grab, keeping his feet in bounds. And all you heard was Luke from the crowd. And that is so bone chilling. Because if this guy turns into a stud and he can be good, that means so much for not just him, but just this team in general, having another receiver that could step up. And I definitely know he had, a rough start to the day, but he was able to finish strong. And for me, again, I'm not hard on the Ben Sinnott because I know he's relatively new to the position. But again, even going out, I expected, something like this as a slow start. Now, does that mean in year two you don't expect any progress? No, you definitely expect progress. But in my opinion, I think it's unfair for a guy like Luke McCaffrey to be judged so heavily. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely ready to see exactly what he provides in year two of his tenure. Continuing on with the wide receiver room, though, Ja'Cory Brooks stacks yet another pretty solid day in the office. And this again, one of the few bright spots to Terry McLaurin being absent. That is him getting other opportunities like a Ja'Cory Brooks. Like a Ja'Cory Brooks wouldn't get an opportunity. Chris Moore wouldn't be getting so much burn had Terry McLaurin been out there, right? So I look at it as Ja'Cory Brooks has an opportunity to make this roster. And if he wants to make this roster, he is going to have to ball out in training camp. Or excuse me, preseason and joint practice. He's already had a nice stellar camp, right? Obviously some drops here and there, but again, he's not perfect. If he legitly wants to make this roster, the next step up for Ja'Cory Brooks has to be to perform in the joint practices against the Ravens and to perform in the preseason against the Bengals, the Patriots, and who do we play last? Whoever we play last, right? He got to find a way because I think there's a spot for him because you guys know I was Michael Gallup heavy. And I'm still Michael Gallup heavy for sure, but I just have not seen enough from him out of camp to say that he's going to make this roster. I really have rarely seen any moves, any plays made by Michael Gallup. Maybe I'm checking the wrong area, but I have not seen his name really in a minute. So all along, I said Michael Gallup was that last six spot, but I think it has an opportunity to go to Ja'Cory Brooks because he's having more opportunity right now and he's proven more. And at least in training camp this year, not overall the course of their two careers, because clearly Michael Gallup is the better player and the more tenured seasoned player. But at this point, I think you would be remiss to go with a guy like Ja'Cory Brooks. Maybe he can be the better Robert Davis, right? Like a preseason guy that was super good. Mitchell Tinsley, right? He was super good, but don't make this roster. Maybe that could be Ja'Cory Brooks, and we'll see because I know a lot of people that are fans of Ja'Cory Brooks and want to see him here in Washington. So that's it for the wide receivers. We talked a little bit about the defense, Jayden Daniels and Zach Ertz, and the offensive line. Kicking. Matt Gay, he looked, I'm not gonna oversize him. He looked cool today. Now, in the kicks that I seen that he kicked, he made them, don't get me wrong. But there were a couple that just snuck in. I'm not saying every single time has to be perfect, but when you're that close, it definitely scares me that it just snuck in. It just snuck in. Some of them, right? Not all of them. Some of them were right down the center in the middle. But some of them were just sneaking in, and I'm hoping that he figures it out, and I'm hoping that he's good because we need a kicker, right? And that's something that we got robbed of last year, literally starting with Brandon McManus, missing time as he was on that freak time. So I am interested in Matt Gay in terms of his kicking, and I hope he provides us with the stability and comfort to have a kicker we can call our own. Like I was tired of changing quarterbacks every few years, I'm tired of changing kickers every year. I need a stat kicker because we need a set kicker, right? Um, Let me see what else. That may have covered pretty much everything in terms of the main topics of the show. Let me just go to X right quick and see if I can get some more information. If not, we'll be done here. We'll be done as it was nice, quick and easy show talking about training camp today as I seen. So yeah, I feel like I pretty much covered everything. So we'll talk about some of the comments. So if you guys want to comment, please do. This is your time to do so as we're winding down the show. You got my guy Nico Williams 1423. He says let's go. Yes, sir. Nico, let's go. Nicole Williams, sorry about that. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Ebony Wright. How you doing, ma'am? I appreciate you for coming through so much. Hope all is well. Uptown Dre, yo, my brother. What's up, Uptown Dre? How you doing, Slim? Appreciate you for coming through as always. Hold it down. Day says, yo, what's good, Day? What's up with you, shorty? Um, Darius I says, keep going, Slim. We love the content. Hey, I appreciate you, Darius. You know I'm gonna keep it up. You know it is. It's go time, season time. It's time to rock out. It's time to rock out. Appreciate you, Darius. PSN Command Network. If you guys are not subscribed to Command Network, make sure you guys go subscribe to my guy, PSN Command Network, for all your Commanders content. Definitely deserve where he is headed in life. Lifty one right now, goated. Liddy one right now, goated, man. Now that's all you right there. But if you guys are new, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and feel free to leave a comment as I'm going through the comment section, reading every comment. Philip B says, smash that like button. Get the algorithm to wake up some fans. Yes, sir. You heard my guy Philip B. Get that algorithm up to some fans and wake these fans up, man. Let them know Juan Gotti is live and in full effect. Day says, I'm proud of you, twin. I appreciate you, Day. I really do, Brody. Thank you so much. PSN says he's goated. Nah, that's you, man. You the GOAT, bro. You the GOAT. He says, I don't see it. He's had a different fit. Nothing different for real. Okay. He was like, I need to go see my wife when he said that. I was like, yeah, I signed. I think he signed. I think he was smiling ear to ear. Why would else would his wife be there? Gotta be looking for the signing photo. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. They were extremely happy. And of course that's his wife, so I'm sure he's always extremely happy to see him. But that hug, right? That hug. They did the little rock jump back and forth. Matter of fact, let's play it right quick again. Just for the people that didn't see it. This was So that was Terry today, and maybe, just maybe they'll wait till Monday to announce, the contract extension if this is in fact what it was. But it's interesting that he was out there. He looked happy and jolly, something that we haven't seen out of him in a minute, right? So make sure you guys like and comment if you're new. Turn on post notifications. It says, and don't forget to comment. I'm reading every comment. If you want me to read your comment, just comment something down below in the comment section. Walter Baker says, "Will we get Terry back? Will we be set one? We're going to the Super Bowl this year for HGR forever when we get Terry back." Yes, sir. I definitely wholehearted 100% agree with you. When we get Terry McLaurin back, we're ready to rock and roll. We're ready to put all this BS and behind us, and we're ready. We're good. We're good once we get Terry back. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with you for sure. Marcus Wright says, I follow you on IG. I love your content. Keep going. Hey, I appreciate you, Marcus. I truly do, my guy. You know we're going to keep this going. Trying to turn this up. And we trying to make this Commander content, you know what I'm saying, into something special, man. So make sure you guys be on the lookout for the video at 6 p.m. where I went around interviewing people at practice today. And it was very good. A lot of people had some strong words to say. about Terry and about the new stadium. So please stay tuned for that 6 p.m. Make sure your post notifications are on. Um, Eli says, "Who are your starting wide receivers if Terry McLaurin sits out the season or he gets traded for draft picks?" So Eli, we're not even going to discuss that because that's not happening, right? And this is not me being delusional or being naive. First of all, you're not getting the compensation and value out of Terry McLaurin that you truly think you're getting. Right? You probably will get a third, a second, right? A third and a second. Like, you're not going to get a first round pick or nothing of that nature. So it wouldn't be smart to trade him. At this point, again, it wouldn't be that smart to trade him anyway as well because he's still under contract for 1 year. So he still has to technically show up. And you trade him right now, you're only doing yourself a disservice by not having a true number one receiver, and you're not getting as much value as you truly could. So he's not getting traded, right? And he's not sitting out this season. I think him sitting out this whole entire season, even though I know he's not going to do, but let's just talk about it though, right? Like, him sitting out of this whole entire season is literally not the smartest thing he could do. It's truly not, because he's already 30 in September, right? And they keep using that as a big reason as to why they don't want to pay him the number that he feels like he deserves. So why even put him in a situation to do that, right? 1 year off of football could definitely change a lot, right? You don't know if you're the same player, so he's not doing that. Lamont TBG says Terry has the opportunity to prove he's good as it gets in the NFL by showing up when the season starts, rooting for captain. Yes, sir. Well said. I'm rooting for captain, and I think he'll definitely go out there and prove why he was worth the money that he got and ultimately will get at some point. What do you think? What did it look like when the O line and D line went after each other? So for me, again, I go back to it. I think Josh Conley Jr. looked pretty good today. They did have a couple pressures that were given up off the edge, i.e., Cleveland Furl. He had a nice rep that got to the backfield. They had a couple batted passes down by the red zone. So there were some times in which the offensive line did not show its much potential. But again, it's nothing to worry about as it's training camp. If it was a game, I'm sure JD5 or somebody would have found a better option if possible. But I do think the offensive line is a work in progress, but it has the potential to be truly, truly good. It's all about what we're going to do at those tackle positions in terms of, obviously Larry Tunsil, but the right tackle position with Josh Connolly, and then the interior with Brandon Coleman, who was banged up today. I think it has the potential to be really, really good. I truly do. Let's see. Um, Todd Labors, thank you so much for the comment. Todd says, "Hey Juan, how are you doing? How's Debo doing? I heard about his hand. How did Connolly look today? Connolly looked pretty solid. He went ones on ones with Miles Garrett, and not Miles Garrett. I'm burnt with Von Miller, and he held his own. He held his own. There were some plays where Von Miller still was able to show his edge and show his speed, show his skill, and still bend the corner and bend that edge. But Josh Conley, for the most part, held his own today. And again, that's a confident sign, given that you're going up against a first ballot Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, and you're going up against a organization or some media members that already are writing you off, kid. So he looked solid today. John says, the more I've rested on this, we are not getting rid of Terry. The front office knows he had our team minus a few last season, so we have to keep this team. It's just for Hard Knocks. Could be just for Hard Knocks if we were in the summer Hard Knocks, but the fact that we're in the winter Hard Knocks and it doesn't happen until December, November, I doubt it, man. But I definitely feel you on everything else, though, right? Like, Terry's not getting traded. They're going to come to a common ground. This is not Dallas where Terry literally said, "I want to be out." Terry requested a trade, but he's still here, in Washington. Terry not going anyplace. Terry is not going anywhere. Terry is not going anywhere. I repeat, Terry is not going anywhere. Um, Moving on, he says, he's already the highest paid receiver. Who? Terry? Who you talk about? Marcus Wright says last preseason game I'll be there. Okay. Okay, cool. 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 Um, and if you guys have any comments, I'll be there September 7th. I'll be there too September 7th, live in the flesh, live in the color. We will be there. Juan Gotti, I'll be there live, and it's gonna be fun. Definitely gonna be fun. What is first team offensive line? So if I had to just roughly, put one together, I would say Laramie Tunsil, Brandon Coleman, Tyler Biotish, Andrew Wiley, and Josh Connolly Jr. That's what I would say. It's all a part of the order process. Exactly. It's all about the order process. That they're drawing up, anything to keep the name in the loop and keep this thing going. But a deal will get done. This is what an agent does. Sean White says defense gonna be so much on, yes, bro. On God it is. This defense was so putrid last year that it had only reasons to go up. Could get no worse. And we significantly got better in the whole entire defensive room, whether it's safeties and whether it's cornerbacks, clearly with one of the biggest upgrades, whether it's adding another linebacker or a second year linebacker looking to take over defensive line. You get Dietrich Wise, you get Javon Kinlaw, you get Eddie Goldman, bringing all these guys defensively. That definitely is going to change, obviously, with Mike Sanders still and Quan as well again. 999 Chrissy or 999 Chris says, "Hey Juan, what's cracking? Can't wait till the season start. What do you think our overall record would be? What's cracking, Brody? I haven't thought about our overall season record, but I'll say floor. Or not floor, but I'll say my ceiling is 12-5, 13-4. Shots only 17. That could be in news. Shots only 17. That could be in the news is Doug Williams. Retirement 17 and Terry Debo Lane for 83 and Lane switches to 25 like CT Chris Thompson. Thoughts on Matt Gay? I haven't seen a ton of Matt Gay yet, but from what I've seen today, he looked sharp. I mean, some of the kicks were barely getting through, but again, at the end of the day, they made it, right? And you're not gonna be perfect every rep, right? But definitely got to see more out of Matt Gay. But just hopefully we don't have to go through a kicker, cycle yet again. Uh, Hassan, this is my guy Hassan. I think this is my guy that I interviewed earlier. Yes, sir. There you go, my guy Hassan Stephanie. You're in the video. It's going up at 6 p.m., my guy. So I hope to see you check it out. He says, "Love the content. Nice interview with you today. Nice interview with you today as well. And I'm glad that I was able to do that. And I'm glad you allowed me to record and put you on YouTube. So thank you so much, my guy. I appreciate you." Is Zane Gonzalez on the team still? How is he doing? No, I don't think Zane Gonzalez is on this team though. It's just Brandon. It's just Michael Gay. Is Terry's son still out there? Who is his son? I predicted 13 last year and we won 14, so I'm gonna go 15. Okay. All right, bet. We'll see. We'll see. Eli says, "How Jalen Lane looking?" Jalen Lane is looking as good as advertised. In the words of Debo Samuel, he's one of the young guys that you actually could tell is studying, actually helping, asking for help, and actually looking to get a career in IT or not IT. I'm tripping. Um, I'm low key zoning. I forgot what I was even talking about. Jalen Lane is a guy that you can clearly see. He's actually in the books. In the words of Debo Samuels, he's studying, but he looked good on field. Punt return, we're in good hands. Again, whether it's Debo part time and Jalen Lane full time, we're good. We're good, bro. We are good, and he has some really good hands. He does have to get a little bit heavier. He is a little light in the tail, but again, that's for his vets to tell him. You know what I'm saying? Brother, and no, they said Lane looks ready. Yeah, he does. Majority of this rookie class looked ready. Even Kane Madrano had a really good play today. He covered was it a tight end or was it a receiver across the middle? He carried him the whole way and he pretty much almost had an interception. Kane Madrano was good. This whole entire draft class seems to be committing to participating and finding a way that we all can go to see them compete in week one because this whole entire class that we drafted seems to be a class that's able to be not have to develop. Now, Kane Madrano's interested. He probably will, but a guy like Trey Amos, I expect day one starter. A guy like Josh Conley Jr., I expect a day one starter. Jalen Lane, I expect him to be a day one starter, whether it's punt return or just kick return and punt return. Whatever one, I think he'll be a full-time starter, specifically punt returner, man. These guys look good. They truly do. Sean Taylor's son, Gabe Taylor, that's his brother. Is Trey Amos with the first or second team? He's with the first team. He's alongside Marshawn Lattimore on the boundary and Mikey Samuelson on the slot. And they looked truly amazing the last time I was out there. He had a touchdown quote on his head, but again, it's a part of football. You're not going to be perfect. But for the most part, he has looked just as advertised. But that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to come on here quickly to drop that knowledge on you all about my time at training camp. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the Washington Commanders. Be on the lookout for my video that I'll be dropping at 6 p.m. You will love it. As always, me and boy Juan Gotti, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the Washington Commanders. I'm on the road to 11,000 subscribers, so that we gotta appreciate it if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Y'all have a blessed one. Stay safe. Be easy out there. Let's see. Peace.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jayden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jayden Daniels' career and he's already milking injuries?
Niggas stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard.